My name is God's Gift, God's Messenger. You're watching Christ High Magazine, and today I'll be decoding or deciphering some matrix codes for you. You're basically what I'm doing is I'm doing this while I'm actually decoding a lot of stuff for myself. I was programmed, and I'm actually decoding a lot of these programs myself. And so what I want to do is I want to share with my viewers. I want to share with everyone some words that I've learned, that I've decoded as triggers for being as triggers for the mind control programs. One of the words that I've noticed is that I've learned, and I've noticed that's a trigger for me is rear or front. Whenever somebody used the word rear, like rear end, I got hit in the rear end of my car, or towards the rear end of the vehicle, or rear end. It for the program sex kitten, or for the program golf, it automatically makes a sex slave trigger. It triggers a sex slave and makes him think sex. It makes him want to have anal sex. It makes him want to be analyzed. It makes him want to have doggy style sex. It makes him think of the butt, the anus, and so rear end and front end, it makes you think sex. These are triggers for sex. Front end, the front of the building, the rear end of the building. These rear and front are all trigger phrases or trigger words that mind control handlers use to trigger their sex bots or their sex slaves. Also, words like "we're gonna have tons of fun," or loads of power, or expressions like "I have to go do some loads of laundry." These things are trigger words for mind control handlers. These are trigger phrases for the mind control handlers use when they're trying to get you back into a trance, so they can load up more sex things inside of your mind, or so they can they can load you up with sex or whatever they need to do. These are triggers for mind control handlers. Also, more is when an announcer gets in a ring and he's like, "Ladies and gentlemen," that is a trigger right there. Automatically, that is a trigger, and he begins to go into his words. Triggers. Some expressions are eat him alive. You're gonna eat him alive. That's a trigger for the program Zombie. That's a trigger for the program Wild Beast. That's a trigger for the program Dog. Eat him alive. Sometimes it depending on what program and when the program handler is using the trigger. Eat him alive can mean kill him. Eat him alive can mean beat him down. It's an act of violence. Eat him alive is an expression for a trigger for an act of violence. Knock his black off. Knock his black off is a trigger for an act of violence. It's an act to promote fighting, or to beat somebody down very violently. To commit a brutal and crucial act, a crime. That means the trigger means the trigger is knock his black off. And that's for the program of Dog, the program of Zombie, the program of Wild Beast, and some other programs. And if you know some things as well, help me, leave comments, leave some feedback. Let's swap information. What we're doing is we're building. We're workers of light, helping people decode these matrix. These matrix programs, so that we can break free as human beings from the Illuminati, which is aliens, which is fallen angels, which is demons, which is God's enemy, which is your enemy. So more terms that they use is weird. That's weird, or that's weird. They use that. That's a trigger. Weird is a trigger. For sex kitten program and for the golf program, it's a trigger for obscure sex, for sex fetishes, for sex in public places. It triggers a variety of different things. Sex with mixing food with it, sex with drugs. The word weird alone and used in different expressions can trigger different things. So weird is a trigger word. Bro, When women use the word bro or bruh, it's a trigger for homosexuality. It's a trigger for confusion. It's a trigger word for these program handlers to trigger their people, their subjects. Also, trigger phrases is running a drill. We were running a drill at work today. That's a trigger word. Running a drill, or rigged. That looks rigged up right there. Rigged is a trigger word. Stab is a trigger word. When they use the word stab in different expressions and the different ways that they use the word stab. Somebody got stabbed today, or oh, he's stabbing her real hard when he's having sex with her. Those are all trigger words. Sticky fingers is a trigger word. Stick figures is a trigger word. When people are talking and they say something like, oh yeah, and he was using stick figures, and his cartoons look like his drawings look like stick figures. Stick figures is a trigger word. You need to be aware of this. Notebook is a trigger word. When people use the word like chill or chillax or chill out or I'm chilling, those are trigger words. I'm hungry. That is a trigger word. That means sex. And when they say stuff like, are you hungry? That means, do you want sex? They use a trigger word, and then after they use the trigger phrase, that they will ask you, are you hungry? Which means, are you now in the trance, and are you ready to have sex? So hungry is a trigger for having sex, needing sex, wanting sex. When they use the word apparently and they associate the word apparently with the number 2, that is a trigger. That is a trigger for sex, for group sex, and for individual sex with 2 people, or menage a trois with 3 people. Menage a trois is a trigger word for orgies, which is a satanic ritual that they use to program people. So when they be like, apparently it was 2 people, and apparently there was 2, when they say apparently and they associate apparent with 2, that's a trigger word for sex, for people that was programmed with that's a trigger word for programs like Zombie, programs of dogs, programs of Sex Kitten, programs of Wild Beast. People, wake up, be aware of what's going on. Wake up and remember what's going on, so that you can break free from the matrix in the name of Jesus Christ. Other things that I want you to know. When people say and I told you again, I'm just being real with you. When I told you I'm breaking free from the matrix, and so when I say I'm hoping I'm not triggering people, but I know that is a trigger word. When people say yeah, when people say yeah, that's a trigger word, because you think when people have sex, they be like, yeah, oh yeah, and so yeah is a trigger word. And when these girls walk by and they say yeah, that's really the Illuminati walking by trying to trigger you into that sex temptation. You know what I mean? So yeah is a trigger word. And okay is a trigger word. Yes is a trigger word. When they hypnotize people, they ask them, they hypnotize them and they make them agree by saying okay, and they make the subjects agree by saying yes. So saying yes and saying okay when it's used in a phrase can be a trigger word. Also, the word dude is a trigger word. Dude is a trigger word. That is a serious trigger word. Gas mask is a trigger word. When people say I apologize or I'm sorry, that's a trigger word. That can be a trigger word. Other trigger words are sucker or blinds. When somebody be like, yeah, I think you need new blinds, or because it's a trigger word, because you remember one of the sexual one of the demonic or satanic rituals of sex that they use is they blindfold the humans, and then they begin to rape them and molest them. And so when they use the word blinds, like, oh yeah, you need new blinds, or I got new blinds today, or I'll take a I'm going on a blind date today. Whenever they use the word blind in an expression, it's because they're trying to trigger you back to that moment when they blindfolded you and molested you, when they blindfolded you and raped you. They're trying to trigger that experience back, put you back in that traumatic trance, so that they can use other trigger words that will manipulate you and compel you to do certain behaviors against your will. Remember, wake up and break free from the matrix in the name of Jesus Christ. So blinds is a trigger word. Naked is a trigger word. The expression of makeup with it being related to the skin is a trigger word. The candy is a trigger word for kids that's been molested. When somebody say, yeah, do you want some candy? Candy is a trigger word. It is a trigger word. And preferably, specifically, a sucker made out of candy is a trigger word. And it is for oral sex. So tequila also is a trigger word. Because remember, you have to remember, when they raped you, when they molested you, they used candy, they used suckers, they also drugged you, they also blindfolded you, and they also forced you to drink tequila, doing experiments on you. So the Illuminati ain't no joke. Other candies that's associated with the Illuminati, with this mind control programs, are chocolates. Chocolates are proclaimed as being given to humans in the occult movements who worship these demons by Satan himself, and they use different extracts of poisons from spiders. They put it inside of the chocolate, and they use abstracts of hallucinogens from shroom mushrooms that was grown under cow manure. They use the extracts of the hallucinogens of the LSD, and they abstract it inside the chocolate. So when you eating the chocolate, you thinking that you just eating chocolate, but it's putting you in a trance so that they can come and do reprogramming. And so be aware, wake up, and break free from the matrix. Other trigger words are right. People be like, right. When they're talking to you, and they be like, right, or exactly, or right, or exactly, right. That's right, or right. I agree. Right, exactly, absolute. These are trigger words. Oh yeah, that's a trigger expression. Oh yeah, Oh yeah, oh yeah. Oh yeah, these are trigger words. Please wake up. Realize what's going on. Also, other trigger expressions are when a woman greets you and she says, "What's up?" It's like she's triggering you to think what goes up. The penis, the phallus. So, or what's good is saying, does what's good, what's up, that's all for oral sex, because the vagina tastes good, the penis tastes good. You see what I'm saying? And so you really need to wake up, people. Break free from the matrix, break free from the hype. I'm giving you these decoded triggers that I've come up with. Also, MK Ultra triggers used to activate or deactivate a mind control subject are trees, images of trees, visual images of trees, or Kabbalistic tree of life. The infinity loops on a car. That's the devil right there. Trying to call me to get that sound. You heard that the call of this phone right now, that ring. Identify that ring. That can trigger fear in people and put them back in a trance. So again, like I was saying, the infinity loops can trigger people. The Olympic rings can trigger people. Ancient symbols and shapes. Shapes of spiders, specifically spider webs, can get you back into that state where you feel like you're trapped into, you're a lost soul, and you're trapped into this, to being a sex slave, and you can't get out of, the sex addiction or the drug addiction. These are all triggers. Also broken mirrors, broken glasses, shatters glasses, images of masks, images of caves, images of castles. That's all Matronic. You know, butterflies, snakes, ribbons, bows, flowers.